Glass is directed by and written by M. Night Shyamalan and stars James McAvoy, Bruce Willis, Samuel L. Jackson, Anya Taylor-Joy, and among others. And this is the, well, it's kind of given now. This is basically the third installment of the trilogy that started out that M. Night Shyamalan did with Unbreakable and Split. And this one deals with, it's 3 years after the events of Splits, where you have the character James McAvoy plays, Kevin, who goes by the Beast when he has his final form. Basically, he's on the loose after all the events that took place when he kidnapped that girl in the first movie in Split. And David Dunn, who's played by Bruce Willis, is going after him, looking for him and everything. Some stuff goes down to where him end up going to this mental institution, which coincidentally was the same location that Samuel L. Jackson's character was from Unbreakable. And basically, while they're there, they end up getting studied by this psychiatrist who's played by Sarah Paulson to find out like where their abilities come from and who they really are. And we'll leave it there because I don't really want to go into much detail without spoiling it.
Which, by the way, after we do this review, we're doing a spoiler if you want to see more.
So we'll do more of that in the spoiler discussion. But now here's some backstory. Now, as we said, this was the third film in a trilogy that M. Night Shyamalan did, starting with Unbreakable, which came out in 2000, and because that was a film when it came out that I didn't see when it first came out, but it wasn't until after Split came out that I finally had a chance to watch it, because Unbreakable was one of those movies that when it came out, it was a lot different for our usual comic book movies, because it basically played the idea that you could take kind of a realistic setting and kind of make something out of a regular guy slowly becoming a superhero.
See, it's funny because there was Shyamalan had other films before this came out.
He did. He had before Unbreakable, he had Sixth Sense,
and I saw that in theaters. But I remember when this movie was coming out, I do remember that compared to Sixth Sense, this and Signs, this movie was probably, out of the three, the most unpromoted movie compared to the three. Because I remember when I saw, like, the trailers to this film, it just, I don't know, it looked so standard that I didn't even check it out. And it wasn't until 6 years, 5, 4, wherever, I can't remember. It was kind of early 2000s when I decided to check it out.
Yeah.
So it took a while for me to watch it.
And I can be honest, like, after finally upon seeing Unbreakable, I consider that to be probably his most underrated of the films that he's done. In fact, it's actually my favorite Shyamalan movie.
Yeah,
especially the way it's actually ahead of its time because of the way it builds the idea of real life superheroes, basically.
Yeah, it was a damn good movie.
Yeah, and then basically it was weird because it wasn't until 2017 when, spoilers, for those of you who don't know, when Split came out, it got me into thinking that basically, because you got to think, after Unbreakable came out, and then when Signs came out, Shyamalan was pretty much considered on top of his game. And then when he did stuff like The Village and Lady in the Water and shit like that, he basically went into a decline where his career was pretty much fucking dead after a while. And then after he did Last Airbender and After Earth, they said
he pretty much put a shotgun in his mouth and pulled the trigger.
And then
he surprisingly came out with The Visit, which we
actually did.
And I was like, okay, now that's a good step up.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. You're not the greatest, but okay.
Yeah.
And then we ended up getting the trailers to Split.
Which that film really got me interested because when that movie was coming out, I was like, all right, this one looks like Shyamalan's coming back. And
yeah, because I love the whole Split personality. It was digging on mental illness and all that stuff. And I remember the trailers were I just couldn't wait to see this movie.
Yeah, and when I finally saw it, that ended up becoming one of my favorite movies of 2017.
Yep, it was my number 2, I think.
It really had, it played on so much the idea of a guy who's like, has multiple personalities and stuff, and set up for this movie. It turns out that that movie was set in the same universe as Unbreakable.
I remember when that fucking ending came at the end, I'm like,
yeah.
What? Because you don't expect that from Shyamalan. He's never done that before.
Yeah.
It's
he actually ties into
he made a fucking sequel to a movie?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
And it ended up being fucking Unbreakable, and that blew me away whenever that we see Bruce Willis and he goes, Glass.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
I remember that was like, everybody fucking jumped and started jumping for joy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then when I got the sailors for this one coming out, they got me really excited. Like,
Yep.
okay, this is going to be even more better
Yes.
since you're combining both franchises.
Yep.
And and they talked that this was the trilogy that Shyamalan talked to at the beginning of Unbreakable, because he originally had ideas for Split going ahead for to do like its own thing, but after really going on for so long where he wanted to do Unbreakable as a trilogy, he decided to finally do that with this movie and the last movie.
Yeah. Supposedly there was rumors going around that the original plan for Unbreakable was to have the Horde just abruptly be in the movie.
It was, yeah.
And he wrote them out.
Yeah, he wrote it out completely.
Yeah, and he
So,
said
if
he
you
wrote
go-
them out on purpose because he goes, I'm going to make this movie. I don't know what I'm going to do with the Horde yet, but I'm going to make this movie. But Unbreakable didn't make much.
And here's the thing,
on the
when
box
you
office.
it was
not a success.
And when you
That's
look
what
back
killed
on
it.
Unbreakable, there's actually there's a hint that it actually tied in the Split, because you go back and watch Unbreakable, there's a kid that Bruce Willis' character ends up walking past that's actually the same kid that would grow up to be in Split.
Yeah, it ended up being James McAvoy.
Mm-hmm.
It was the scene where the mom was kind of beating, smacking the
Yeah.
kid around, and he didn't get involved, but you really get a lot of focus, and none of us caught it.
Yeah, it was one of those.
I mean, it's Shyamalan. He's never made a sequel to anything, so
Yeah.
you're not going to look for shit like that.
Exactly.
And you go really back after watching Split, and you're like, oh my god, dude, you know what? For a guy who has a bad filmography, that blew me the fuck away.
Yeah.
To go back all the way to a film from the 2000
Yeah.
and do that and able to trick us like that.
Yeah. And then now at this one, after really hearing about a lot of the buzz coming in, this has actually become one of the most polarizing films probably of Shyamalan's career, because he's had a lot of... Because, well, keep in mind, when Unbreakable came out, that movie was kind of divided as far as its ending. It's kind of similar with this, but on a more different level. Because I can say that while I like the movie, I can understand a lot of people's divisiveness on the ending, which we'll get to in the spoilers.
We'll get into in the spoilers, but
we'll get to our pros.
But overall, my thoughts of the film, while I did enjoy it, I do got some... wild nitpicks, I got some issues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
unfortunately, and I was kind of. I wish
you were really divided.
I wish I didn't walk out of theaters with saying what I'm about to say.
Yeah.
But
anyway, to get our pros out of the way, I'll say, like, once again, the James McAvoy really kills this.
My favorite of the movie.
He steals like every scene in this film. He's really wonderful as the character with multiple personalities, and now he has different personalities this time.
Yeah,
like
this one we get to see 5 or 6 new ones.
Yeah, like I
were
speak
pretty
Spanish,
cool. Which is good, because I would hate to see the same rehash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he really is one of the best highlights, and also the rest of the cast is great too. It's great to see Bruce Willis is trying to make a comeback again, and he really brings a lot of his A game to this.
Yeah. It was good seeing all 3 of them together.
Yeah, them and Samuel Jackson from Unbreakable come back, and they all the cast was great.
Not to mention, it's a very rarity that you can go way back to a film that was being made, actually technically made in 99, but then came out in 2000.
Yeah.
Where you're actually able to get all the other side characters back. The mom, the son. And it's like, whoa, damn, you're able to pull really everybody back.
And the movie also features flashback footage of of Unbreakable as well. And they really do like tie into some things with these characters.
Yes.
And so the cast was pretty good. And I even enjoyed the other girl, the Sarah Paulson, who plays the psychiatrist. She was good.
Her performance was good, but we'll go on more spoiler of the direction they went with her.
Yeah, and then of course it's also great to see the girl from Split come back as well.
Yeah, she was cool.
Now, and then the other thing I got to admit too is the way the story plans out for the first like 2/3. It really starts out like fucking great.
Oh
like,
god, this movie at the very fucking beginning it's not like a slow place start. It really kicks into high gear. I mean, the fight scenes that we get to see.
It really kind of starts out basically like a true sequel to Unbreakable, because you have basically Bruce Willis's character.
Well, it gives a fair share for both.
Yeah,
it gives us a fair share, a sequel of that and Split at the same time in the first 15-20 minutes, which I appreciated that they did. They didn't favor one movie. They made an actual sequel to both at the same time.
And then the way the movie is building upon when they're actually in the in the actual asylum or the mental institution and everything, the way that the characters are kind of like being, confronted about their powers and stuff, the movie really explores a lot through this theme, because much like Unbreakable, which took a lot with the, kind of the real life superhero thing, they go really on board with this with the ideas that Shyamalan pushes, because we get other like different turns and twists that come into play with the realism that he was trying to go for, and I liked where the movie was going with this.
Yeah, I was too. Because I love the everybody getting their own like description of their own little kind of like story being told, their backstories. Because sometimes this movie does kind of give us a re-imaging of like their backstory. Again, that was pretty good.
Yeah, so it's like if you didn't watch the first two, you kind of get more of basically like a fresh start, basically.
Yeah, they did that, and I love the scene where they're all three in the same thing.
The colors, the
color scheme is awesome. The purple and green, I love that.
And the way that's the camera shot, the way it's shot too, is really interesting. Because,
and I'm gonna be a pro on this one, because I heard a lot of people complain about this film because it's new in M. Night Shyamalan. I enjoyed the POV shots.
I did too. Some of the fight scenes they do where it shows like you have characters' faces looking directly at the camera. Yeah, I like the way they use that in these shots from the way it's.
A lot of people said they didn't like it.
Yeah, well, they felt it was a little too disjointed from the way that it's kind of edited.
Yeah,
but I like the way it was kind of given, because it's almost like he was trying to do a one take, but also a POV at the same time, basically.
Yeah. Well, I did like the fight scenes between Dunn and the Horde. I'll go in more detail of like some in my cons about like, because it's very mixed. Good fights. They are.
Yeah, they are. They are.
Yeah,
really
they're
great.
all they're authentic,
and you really see the strength that both of these guys like have, and you can see a lot of the stuff that they go through, and they show their weaknesses and their strengths.
Yeah,
that I enjoyed. The other thing I will say, the score was actually pretty good. Not as memorable as say Unbreakables was, but I thought it really captured a lot of the kind of really haunting moments with not only the Horde but also with Glass as well.
Yeah,
they have like that kind of their own music that shows who they are, and then some of the other heartfelt moments that kind of really got me on emotional.
Yeah, there's this motion. We're going to go on our spoilers on this, but there's some pretty sad stuff that happens that unfortunately I expect it was going to be seen as it's the final trilogy. Yeah, but there were some pretty emotional scenes in this, and. But that's pretty much my pros. Now, here's where we kind of get to our cons. Now, while I enjoyed like the way the movie was playing out the first like 2/3, there were some things that they kind of lead into the third act that either it gets unexplained or they spend time with it, but then they quickly abandon it, or they quickly rush through it by the end. Yeah, the third. All right, like you said, the first 2/3 is a very compelling movie that we're watching.
Yeah.
Then we get to the third act, and we're gonna go on spoilers. Like I said, this is where the film is very rocky. There's something for every something that's good that we're seeing. Then there's something that's I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, it really gets.
It brings a certain something that they basically bring this a group of something that you feel like should have. They need to tell more about that. Yeah. This certain group.
There's an event that happens that happens toward the end, and you're kind of like, where did this come from exactly? Yeah. Like, what was the explanation for this?
And the fact that this being the final movie, we'll never get an explanation. Therefore, that's an issue.
Yeah, I can see what a lot of people now. Yeah. I'm conflicted because, like with him, he said, I kind of liked what the ending did with the way it approached it, but I can see a lot of people being pissed because depending on how you feel with the ending of the movie is going to result the rest of the film because of how things are either not explained and the way the direction they went didn't pay off as much as it should have went.
It's not that. It's the fact that you have your own mindset of what you think the epic ending should be. Yeah. And a lot of people walked in this, like me, I know, like, we're getting to the final battle, I have already in my mind what I want to see end.
Yeah.
Then, instead of going in a direction where I could have said, oh, that works too, it went to a direction like,
yeah.
I like that, but I don't know.
It's weird
about
because
that.
there's good things and there's not so good things about the ending that happened. Because so it is kind of a 50-50.
There is something I do want to address too. This is kind of a con for me, in a way, because had this movie went on a more epic scale, we're talking about possibly easily top 20 best trilogies ever. And Shyamalan had it by the thread like that, like he had it.
Yeah,
but because of that ending, it just he loses the credibility of it being a perfect trilogy.
Yeah.
And two, while the movie is good, I expect it to be way more on an epic scale than that.
Yeah.
Because the trailers does a very fine job. It's one of my favorite trailers that aired for a 2019 film that we've seen so far that aired last year.
Yeah.
And while the trailers make it like it's going to be on that epic scale, it doesn't. It's like you're 5'6" and you're reaching for the top of the shelf. You're almost there, but you're not there.
Yeah.
And that kind of was a little underwhelming.
Yeah, and plus I will say that there are certain things that they bring up with some of the characters that are important from like some of the other films, like the girl from Split and the son. They do bring in certain things about them to kind of tie into the events later on in the third act. But there's another character that's also brought in that I felt from the way they kind of tied it together, it felt really just kind of
there's a lot of basically. All right, basically there's stuff in the middle throughout the film that's isn't a major bitch, but there's every so often there's another thing not explained.
Yeah.
Why did that person in there? How did they know that person was there? How's he going through this door and getting here?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of explanation because you got to think. We got to focus on David Dunn, the Horde, and his many personalities. Then we got Samuel L. Jackson's character, Elijah. Then we got to bring the girl from Split. Then we got the son from Unbreakable, and then we got the mom of Elijah. So there's a lot of characters that ain't that because they also play a big role in this story too. But somebody when you have that many characters, somebody's gonna be getting less story time.
Yeah.
So it's like because they play a big part in this film, like I just stated, and it's like how did. There's a lot left out, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
I'll go more in the spoilers on that.
But overall, I will say that the movie is definitely my least favorite of the trilogy.
It is my least favorite.
Now, is it a bad Shyamalan movie? No, not even the least. But I will say that as far as like for the movies that he's directed a while, it's definitely. It's kind of like I'd say on Signs level, because it's at that point when he makes a good movie, but you can start to see that he's kind of going back to his old days when he was kind of struggling. Back in
after he started making epic movies, we started seeing him struggling with endings.
Yeah,
and I feel like in a way, while there's things I did like about the ending, the other is like 50-50. Then there's 50% of the ending I didn't like. So it's like he struggled at an ending because I'll go more in the spoilers on how it ends. But basically hinting when the movie ends, we still got another 15 minutes of runtime going. So it's he kept giving us different types, and it felt like he didn't know what to give us, so he said, fuck it, put it all in there.
Yeah.
So he kind of did that, so
overall, with that being said, now I will say, this is kind of the first time I'll kind of do it this way. The first 2/3, I'll say, is about probably compelling.
It is a compelling grade. It is a compelling in the first
And I will
2/3.
say, for the most part, in the third act, the way it kind of brings it down is pretty good. It's on level. It's the last 20 minutes, I'll say, really brings it down to quite a low. So with that, I have to give the movie I'm just going to go with just a high average Joe.
And I'm with him on this one, another same score, high average Joe. I wish this movie would have been better. I will say that while good, I was actually quite underwhelmed what I saw.
Yeah.
I mean, I was a little
underwhelmed.
I guess because this was my number 2 most anticipated film of 2019.
Yeah.
So I walked in with massive fucking expectations. I mean, he's got to get it right here.
Yeah.
And he just gave us a good movie.
Yeah.
It's like, man, okay.
Yeah. So For those of you who have also seen Glass and also Unbreakable and Split and some of Shyamalan's other films, let us know in the comments below what you thought about it. And if you like what you see here, you can feel free to like, subscribe to our channel, and check out some other reviews here and on our website, at filmphreeks.com. And we'll be seeing you in our next review. We'll see you later.
Later.